Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. And this is the season finale of Xscape. Just kicking into season 1, episode 4. I'm sure everyone is just as upset as I am that this series, this season only had 4 episodes. However, I am holding out hope that my lipstick feels funny. I'm holding out hope that it was just 4 episodes as a test run. And it was like, 'cause I think they figured maybe people wouldn't want to watch Xscape. We don't know. So let's not try to do a whole 8 or 10 season thing if it's not going to be popping. But lo and behold, it was a huge success. They had great numbers for the season. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they get a season 2, and the season 2 will consist of them actually on tour, because as we know, they are doing a 28 city tour. So let's hope that we do get a season 2. Now season 3, I don't know about that, because we all know Candy Birds might say no, but I hope everyone had a great day and they're getting ready for the new work week. So the episode starts off with them at rehearsal. And this is after their whole BET performance from the BET Awards earlier this year. And, as they perform, and I'm like, why is Tamika's ass sticking out? Like, everyone else is facing forward singing a little song. Tamika is, sideways with her ass poked out. And I'm looking like, we all know your ass is huge. We know that you put a whole lot into your ass. We understand it, honey, but you ain't got to poke it out at every single time. You got to poke it out. I mean, like, put that ass back in, okay? Put that ass back in. Because I'm like, you have the biggest ass. 100%, you do not have to turn sideways for us to see your butt. You don't, at all. So, they sound good and everything. So, they're then talking about their performance at the BET Awards. And Tamika's like, I think we did good. However, Tasha, I feel like your mic was too loud, and I feel like Candy, that you did sound winded on just kicking it. And my thing was, I also felt like Latasha's mic was too loud. I felt like I thought she was just singing very loud. My hair is crazy, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so I don't talk about my hair. I just felt like she was over singing, but I'm like, oh, her mic was, because she was really loud. And then Candy did sound winded, but however, they ain't been on stage in 20 years, and they around here dancing and singing and walking all around the stage. It was a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mama got winded. But I still think they sounded good for their first performance for the first time within the last 20 years. So we see that. Well, she do say how Tiny sounded good. Tiny, I forgot how great of a voice Tanya has, because of course I ain't seen her ass sing in 20 years, but she did do good, so that was a good thing. Tasha seen her and said in her confessional how she's hoping Candy is ready to go, and do more shows, because they want to go further than just these first couple of shows. She's like, business has to keep moving, and I still feel the same way. Well, girl, if you want business to keep moving, you feel like Candy don't want to be there, then do it without her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did not have to involve Candy in the first place. But y'all knew y'all had to, because the fans really do want to see all 4 girls. Tiny and, because then the next thing we see is, I think it was Candy and Tiny's booking agent who's there, and the Scott sisters, and Tiny's like, well, yeah, we need to talk about the lighting. We need to get fans, because of course when they performing on stage, they need fans in front of them to blow, because it'd be hot on stage. And they outfits, I'm pretty sure, be thicker than the Snickers. So, they be hot up on stage. They want, better fans. And Candy like, they up and trying to plan a whole tour, and I'm just trying to, again, get through these first couple of dates. Because they saying like, yeah, we need to get fans for these tour dates, and get that set up right now. Again, because those 3, Tiny, Tamika, and Latasha, they're wanting to go full on tour and all this other stuff. And Candy like, well, damn, I said, can we get through these first 3 shows before we do something else? But you know what I'm saying, she just says how she does not want to, she feels like they're rushing it still, because they're still talking about stuff, and of course they haven't finished these first 3 shows. Then Tamika suggests how they should switch up the dressing room situation. She said how usually Tiny and Candy are in the same room, and Tamika and Latasha are in the same room, and she was saying that basically like, well, maybe me and Candy should share rooms, so that we can kind of switch it up, and we can all get more comfortable with each other. Because again, she understands that Candy still feels some kind of way about, you know, the whole apology thing, about what she said over radio years ago. Kandi not fully over it. She's, you know, but she's okay with being around and stuff like that. But so she's hoping if they share dressing rooms, it can bring them closer. I think that's a good idea. So, you know, in the car on the way home, you know, Kandi and Tiny riding together and everything. And Tiny says how Tip said that he, you know, her husband T.I., said that he, you know, wasn't able to make her the first show, and he probably won't make any of her shows. And, you know, of course, it makes her a little sad that he told her that. And I feel two different kind of ways about that. One, I feel like if y'all are going through a divorce, you can't be surprised if the person you're divorcing isn't at all of your milestones. I feel like sometimes with a divorce, sometimes the two parties have to do things separate so you can kind of be used to not being together. I'm not saying T.I. not coming is right. What I'm saying is just in general, when two people are getting divorced, you want to start doing things separately if you're really going through a divorce. However, for Tiny and Tip, I feel like that divorce was a bunch of bullshit, and she feels some kind of way because that's her husband and they not getting no damn divorce. Or like she said, you know, when well, she said, you know, she just thought he would support her, and now she's hurt because, you know, they've been together for all this time, and, you know, why would you come to your wife's first performance in 18 years? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you come? And again, as I said, I feel like his ass didn't come because he like we getting divorced. You know what I'm saying? You can't be dependent on me to always be there. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you do have to start to move on. However, you know, y'all ass ain't getting no damn divorce, so that's why she's upset. Kandi asked the same question, you know, are y'all really getting a divorce? Like, what's going on? And Tiny has no answer. She says, you know, well, I only filed for divorce because I felt like if I can't have it all, I don't want none of it. Meaning, Tip was out there doing his thing, out there swinging and banging and doing whatever you want to do, and she was tired of it. You know, she said how when she first met him, he wanted her to be at home with the kids and he wanted to take care of her. And I feel like this, when you marry a man and he say, you know what, this is what I want, can you be that for me? You know, I want a wife, I want someone home with the kids, and I want to support her financially. That's what I want. You can't, well, you can, you know, if it's years later and that's not like what you want, you can't be mad at him if he's not willing to accept the fact that you want something different for the marriage and that ain't what he signed up for. I'm not saying that it's right that he doesn't want her to work, not saying it's right that she quit touring because of him, but my thing is she made a decision. I don't think he forced her. She could have easily said no. So, you know, it is what it is. But she then said, you know, at this point in time, she don't know what they're doing. I know what y'all doing. Y'all still sleeping together. So guess what y'all ain't doing? Getting no damn divorce. And again, that's why she's so upset. But again, she still didn't really have a reason, or she didn't even have she didn't have a reply when Kandi said, what's going on? She said, yeah, I don't know. We just, you know, we just going along. Because she's still sleeping with him. Y'all still having sex, meaning you think that's your husband, even if y'all live in two different households, even if you still have divorce stuff with the courts. You know, it is what it is. So the next day back at rehearsal, we see this man walk in. We like, Hoppo, who that man just walked in? And lo and behold, it is JD's daddy. Yep, the same JD's daddy who Tamika said that Kandi was sleeping with back in the day, that we know was a lie. But come to find out, which I didn't know, honestly, Jermaine's father used to be the head of Columbia Records back in the day when they were on Columbia Records. I'm like, that's why she said Kandi was sleeping with everybody, because his daddy was the damn head of Capitol Records. But hell, if she slept with him and JD, she would have had a solo career, and she had nothing. Well, she became a writer and still great in her own right. But I'm saying if she was connected like that to them too, y'all ass would have never broken up. She would have kept the group together. However, we come to find out that because he was the head of Columbia, Tasha ass got an issue with him all these years ago. Why did Tasha have an issue with him all these years later? Because when Tasha got that solo deal, she said that Columbia Records gave her over $300,000, which was supposed to be for her making her album. Now, you know, when they give you an advance, all that money has to be paid back. to the record company. So she said, you know, she didn't spend all that money, and that when she was like looking at where the money went, she was seeing a whole bunch of money was coming out, and she didn't know where it was where it was coming from. You know, it wasn't her like expenses was being taken out, but I wasn't the one doing these expenses. She then says, now again, this is after Xscape broke up and everything, and they gave her $300,000 to do this damn solo album. And she's like, you know, I would talk to Jermaine about the musical stuff. You know, Jermaine was musical. You know, I didn't talk to him about the business side because I would talk to his father. No, I would talk to other people. She then said, you know, when I saw all this money was coming out for stuff, you know, producing fees, all the stuff that goes along with a person on the album, but I knew I wasn't the one incurring these expenses. You know, I felt like I should have been able to reach out to Jermaine's father, who his name was Michael, who at that point in time was the head of Columbia. You know, he should have reached back out to me. She said he never did. And my thing is, like, that's why she's mad now, because she ended up having to, she said, because at the same time, Jermaine left Columbia, he went wherever else. Her record was shelved. She never came out with a solo record, and she ended up having to pay back Columbia over $300,000. And I felt like that was karma on her ass. And not only that, I feel like you up here being mad at Jermaine Daddy, but don't want to be mad at Jermaine. And my thing is, if you felt like Jermaine Daddy was your friend, I'm pretty sure Jermaine was your friend too. And my thing is, if I'm trying to call somebody daddy and I'm close to their son, I'm going to call the son and say, hey, this is what's going on. You know, is there any way that you can reach out to your father or just tell me who I should reach out to here? You trying to, if I feel like Latasha is continually always trying to let Jermaine off the hook for whatever. I don't know what Jermaine got on her. I don't know if he got her on a sex tape and she wanted to come out. I don't know if she stole some money. I don't know what it is, but she always consistently has this blind loyalty to him, and I don't understand it, because you just said out your own mouth that Jermaine was at the label, was helping you with your stuff music-wise, but then he up and left the label, which kind of left you in the dark too. So how you mad at his daddy, but you're not mad at him? And my thing is, I just call bullshit on it. So she's saying that Michael was also Xscape's ex-manager. But again, y'all was so tight with Jermaine. Y'all so tight with Jermaine that you feel like you don't have to go, that you felt like he wasn't wrong for anything. He wasn't wrong for leaving the record label. He wasn't wrong for sleeping with Candy. You know, he wasn't wrong for sleeping with Candy. He wasn't wrong for trying to get a right to y'all, to the songs that y'all performed to this this other movie. She keep making Jermaine not be, you know, accountable for none of his actions, or just accountable as their friend. You know what I'm saying? At all. And I'm like, I don't understand why she's doing it like that. So she was like, you know, I'm not saying that Michael took it, but I'm saying, you know, he wasn't there to help me out like he should have been, you know. Then Tamika said, yeah, because she should have been able to contact Michael, and Michael should have intervened. No, he don't. At all. You know how many times things happen? Because let's get it straight. She was a new solo artist. You don't always get to talk to the head of the company. You have your own people, and if they fucked you over, I mean, you couldn't go to nobody else but him. Like, nobody else had no answers. My thing is, I just call bullshit on it. And my thing is, I feel like you full of shit. I don't even know how else to say it. So anyway, he's there, and you know, Candy's like, well, I think y'all need to talk, because we see now Michael is with Live Nation, which is like a touring live performance company who does like all kind of concerts and stuff, and he wants to work with Xscape because of course they're coming back out. And Candy's like, well, I think you and Tasha need to first be on the same page. And he's like, oh, we're not on the same page? Like, am I missing something? And she's like, no, we're not on the same page. So Candy's like, you know what? I think y'all need to talk. Come on, Tamika, let's leave. But of course, Tasha don't want Tamika to leave, because, you know what I'm saying, they think one thing too, but it is what it is. You know, Candy leaves out, but I find it amazing that Candy knew it was an issue between them two, and they need to get it figured out before we do anything forward. But how they feel about Candy, they don't want Candy to have her own closure to move forward. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So, you know, at first, Tosh, like, I don't want to talk to him. I don't have anything to say to him. You know, I don't want to talk to him now the same way he didn't want to talk to me back in the day. Girl, grow up. So, you know, he's like, you know, is there something I did? Is there something I didn't do? You know, what's up? She goes into, you know, yeah, I feel like, you know, back in the day, you never looked out for me. And, you know, I had to pay money back to the label that I never used. And I would call you, and I just didn't get any kind of response back from you. And he's like, I don't remember going down like that. It's the exact same situation with how Latasha said, well, I didn't know me and Candy had an issue. I didn't know me and Candy was at odds. I didn't know this the same way Tamika was acting like. I didn't know why Candy was upset with me because you was lying. And and Latasha, the same way you knew you and Candy had an issue. So I find it funny that the exact same situation that Candy was going through with both the sisters. Latasha's going through with this man, and she don't feel like she should have to forgive him. Because when he was saying, like, I don't remember going down like that, but I'm sorry if I didn't reach out as much as you wanted me to, or if I didn't help you the way you thought I could. But he then gets back on track. He's like, however, now y'all done sold out this Detroit show. I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to Live Nation about things, and then Tamika like, wait, you know what? No. What's your agenda here? And he's like, you know what? I don't have no side agenda. I just feel like, hey, y'all back to performing. Y'all back to selling out shows. And, I would love to be involved if y'all was to do a full tour. And, he's saying that, because he's there for business. And, Latasha saying in her little confessional, I feel like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I have to forgive him. We can go to any company and get a tour. I have plenty of numbers of people we can call. First of all, ain't nobody been calling Tasha for a tour. They've been calling Xscape for a tour. You ain't got no plenty of numbers, girl. Girl, bye. And I feel like everyone knows Live Nation is one of the top tour peoples or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you can't bite a gift. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth. And it's, to me, I feel like, because what she said was, I feel like he threw an apology out there. He wants me to accept it for the greater good of the group. I don't think so. But that's the exact same thing y'all did to Candy. The exact same thing. After not talking to her for 18, 19 years, Tamika apologized, and y'all wanted her to instantly jump back into doing music with y'all, and wanted her just to forgive and forget and move on. Because after 18 years of just tension between the people. And the thing about that was, Tamika and Candy knew it was tension between the two. From this thing, it don't look like the dude Michael knew it was tension between him and Latasha. And I feel like Latasha is a goddamn hypocrite, because the exact same shit you and your sister did to Candy, and y'all want her to forgive and forget and move on and be on tour and jump on full board. You won't do that for a person who can help y'all be on tour. Girl, but I mean, as I was watching it, I was like, I can't believe she has the audacity to say he wants to apologize to me and wants me to just accept it for the betterment of the group. But that is the exact same thing y'all have been asking of Candy. The exact same thing. That is such a fucking hypocritical moment right there. And I feel like, oh, well, this made my blood boil that she would say that. Because I'm like, y'all did that to Candy. And yeah, he went right back to making a sales pitch. It just pissed me off. And I feel like both sisters knew it was some bullshit. So, it is what it is. So, the next thing we see is Tiny and Candy at dinner. And they were talking about different things about the Detroit show, how they were trying to get one of the Clark sisters out on stage at the Detroit show. But then they bring up how, this is their first time headlining any kind of show. Back in the day, they're like, we've never done our own 1 hour show as the only act. There were always bigger acts who we on tour with. So we never was like the headlining people. And, they're happy about doing that. Even Tiny asking, Candy, how do you feel that you and Tamika are doing right now? And Candy like, I do feel like Tamika, feels bad for what she said. However, I still feel like she apologized for monetary gain so that we can be on the same page and we can go out and do a tour. And I agree. I don't think just because she apologized to go on tour that she don't mean it. But I feel like she did it for... Yes, I do. Yes, I take that back. I just feel like if it wasn't anything about them getting back together, if it had nothing to do with them coming back together as a group, I don't think Tamika would have apologized. Because if that was true, she would have apologized before this. She would have called Candy personally and said, let me apologize. And Candy could have then said, okay, we'll do it on air. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to come to, okay, well, let's do some more stuff together and then I apologize. But, it is what it is. But she did say, I do feel like she feels bad for it. But again, we know Candy just takes more time to forgive. And she has every right to do that because, again, this has been 18 years of tension. No one gets rid of 18 years of tension when somebody lied on them on a national radio show. No one. So anyone who says, well, she should just get over it. Well, you have your best friend going to radio and said you fucked their daddy, or you fucked the whole football team in high school and you was a slut out in these streets. You're not going to be so gung-ho to forget that person. It's going to take you some time to get over it. So give Candy that same respect. So, you know, Tiny does say, like, well, I just want you to be open-minded. And Candy says, you know, well, I feel like I have been. You know, we have been getting along, you know, but I don't want to have any fallout. She said, because I feel like if we have, you know, one fallout, I'm going to say deuces. I would too. You know, it is what it is. Next. What do we see next? Oh, the Sky Sisters in the car. And, you know, this is after the whole, conversation with the old manager guy, and you know we see Latasha. What did I put? Oh, Latasha's trying to make it seem as if the way that she feels about the guy Michael is completely different than how Candy feels about her or Tamika. It's the exact same thing. You know, she's trying to make it seem like as if it's two different situations, but it's not. You know, the show has seen the ladies at dinner maybe like 2 or 3 days prior, and Candy's asking like, well, what happened with the conversation with you and Michael? Because of course, remember, Candy left, and you know, she's like, you know, well, I'm not ready to work with him yet, and you know, I'm not ready to overlook the past. And Candy like, but aren't you the one that told me, you know what I'm saying, how you don't think about the past, and the past is the past, you know, you over everything? And she's like, well, no, I didn't say that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet. But it's the exact same fucking thing. Oh my, it just made me so mad. And then she said, you know, well, I've completely buried the issue I have with Michael. So, you know, I just hope that Candy can find it in her heart to forgive my sister. But you haven't forgiven Michael. When someone says I buried it, it doesn't mean it's over with. It means you buried it and it's just there, just festering, and just at any point in time it can dig its way back up. But I mean, girl buys what I wrote. No, I hope Candy can find it in her heart to forgive my sister. And my thing is, it ain't even about Candy found it in her heart to forgive your sister. It's about giving Candy the time to forgive her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't keep pushing her to do it. Because my thing is, if you keep pushing her to do it, it's like you forcing her to do it so that y'all can be on tour. And that's the part that she don't like. She does not want to feel like y'all just want her to forgive y'all so that y'all can be friendly on tour. At all. You should be happy whether if she forgives Tamika and then doesn't go on tour. Because she still forgave your sister. But that ain't what y'all doing it for. But, you know, it is what it is. We see they get to Essence, and we all saw on social media, well, I think everyone saw on social media, the venue where they had the girls performing, it wasn't the main stage. It was like it was a super lounge, but it wasn't that super. Mona Scott said it was going to hold 4,000 to 5,000 people, but I'm like, was that before they got all that equipment in there? Because it did look big, and I remember all the social media posts where it was video of thousands and thousands of people who could not get in to see the girls, and people were upset. People were asking for refunds. They just did not have them in a big enough space. And I feel like Essence probably was like, we got this all wrong. They should have been on the main stage. But I think because that was their first comeback performance, you wouldn't think to put them on the main stage. I think they put them in that location because they just thought they wouldn't have, you know, 10,000 people show up to see them, but they did. So they did perform, and you know, Candy, they was like how there were a couple sound issues, and Candy was like, you know what, we have to invest in a better sound person. If nothing else, we have to have great sounds. But you know what I'm saying, it was a great show overall. The next thing that we see is now they're in Detroit. Now, we see that Candy and Tamika met downtown. They were showing Detroit off. You know, they showed Shane Park at the amphitheater. Detroit, people don't know, is a completely different Detroit than people talk about, like, on the news and stuff like that. We have great parts of Detroit. You know, they have redone a lot of the city, especially downtown. So the part that you're seeing is the new Detroit, you know what I'm saying, the things that they've redone downtown. So I thought that was a great thing. And Shane Park It's a great location. It's right off the water. So, you know, it looked beautiful. And it was a great place to have the first concert. But, you know, Candy and Tamika met downtown at what we call our river walk. And it's basically like at the river. And you can walk along it. And it has different stuff along the river walk. And people go there and sit and chill and, you know, have fun or whatever. So, you know, Candy was saying how, you know, oh, it looks so beautiful down here, which is true. And, you know, Tamika says how she kind of wants to get back close with Candy. And how she's like, I feel like it was like we were married. And then we got a separation. And then Candy said, well, no, I think we got a divorce. You know, I divorced you. I took everything and I left. And she was like, so, you know, we were done. My voice is going out, I think. So, you know, they're kind of laughing. It was cool. And, you know, Candy says, you know, I feel like now we're dating again, you know. And Tamika was just saying how, you know, she wants to get back with Candy, you know, in the aspect of you separate from someone, but y'all get back together. So Candy was like, we know we dating right now. We not back together, but we definitely dating. And, you know, they was laughing. Candy says how she just doesn't want to move too fast. And I think that's a logical thing to do because someone betrayed your trust. They hurt you. And you don't know if they are sincere and if they have changed since the last incident, even if they have said sorry. And, you know, Candy admits, you know, it takes me time to forgive people, but I'm working on that. And, you know, I'm working on fully forgiving Tamika. You know, Tamika said how she knows she hurt Candy. And, you know, she feel like she just wants to make sure that Candy is aware that she's changed. And, you know, she's like, I've always said only an act of God can get us back together. And look, you know, God moved mountains and now we, you know, back on tour and stuff. We're back together. Okay, back together. So, you know, that was a great moment. There was a little scene we see where Candy and Tiny are talking. And Candy is kind of saying like, you know, I just want to get through these couple shows and then see where it goes from there. Where Tiny said, like, no, we need to be great so that we can go further. And she was like, why? You know, and Tiny said, well, because, you know, we owe the fans more. So Candy's like, you know, I love y'all. You know, I think it's great that we're doing these couple of shows. And I love the fans, absolutely. But I feel like I want to give them, like, one go-around and that's it. And Tiny was like, well, yeah, but one go-around would include a tour. Like, you can't just go to one city and see a couple of fans. You need to go tour the whole, you know, tour a whole bunch of people, you know, maybe even go overseas. I agree with that. So Candy was like, okay, I'll give y'all one go around and that's it. I think that's fair. I don't think Candy has to commit to, for the rest of her life, performing with the girls. Because again, Candy has other things going on. So I felt like it was cool her saying, you know, okay, you know, I can do this much. And then we can see where it goes. But I'm not trying to do no full, you know, 4-5 years. We still performing on stage. I don't want to do that. But I'm open to, you know, one trip around the world, basically. Next we see T.I. came to the show. Okay. T.I. was at the Detroit show. He surprised Tiny. Tiny, of course, was happy. He brought the kids. Her mom was there. I think we saw all the moms there, actually. We did see Tiny's mom, we saw Candy's mom was there too. I don't know if the Scott sisters' mom was there, but it was what it was. They only showed one day of the show because the second day of the show, T.I. performed. Like T.I., I'm gonna wait and do this. So, you know, well, no, I guess I can't do it right now. T.I. was there. So he was there for both shows because they did 2 dates in Detroit over the 4th of July holiday. It was July 4th and July 5th. And they had booked they had sold out the first show. And then about maybe like 2 weeks later, they added the second show, which also sold out. And both shows were great. I had friends that went to both shows. I wasn't able to go to either show because I was like, I don't know if they're going to be good or not. So I didn't get tickets. Stupid me. And I didn't think they were sold out. Stupid me. Anyway, you know, he was at both shows. The second show, I think when they did, was it Understanding? One of their songs they did, and they brought all the husbands up on stage. And so Tiny was singing to T.I. Well, no, T.I. came up on stage with the daughter, with Eris. And when he left, the DJ A1 was like, T.I., you want to do something real quick? And he put on Bring 'Em Out, Bring 'Em Out. And then T.I. came out, he did his whole song or whatever. It was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Everyone who was here was like, oh my God, it was amazing. Xscape was amazing. Then at the end, to have T.I. actually perform a whole, like, he took his suit jacket off and everything and performed the whole song. So, that was great. But, they had a great show. They came out dancing. That was also great. They were dancing, and Candy was dancing, getting down with the get down. They all did sound great. Candy was admitting how good it felt to be on stage with her sisters again, and how it was a great feeling, and how she thinks she can move forward with a tour. We know they did it, doing 28 cities. Then they were singing the song in vain, If I living in vain. They was doing that song, brought out, Karen Clark, who of the Clark sisters, so she came out and sang with them. Great show. We also saw how Tamika brought Candy on stage after feeling like God was moving through her, and she apologized again wholeheartedly, and it seemed more sincere. It honestly did. She just said, I hurt you, I love you, I'm sorry, you're my sister. And they then sang a song about God giving them a clean heart. Candy was crying, of course. Tamika was crying, and Candy was saying how Tamika knew that she always felt the first apology wasn't sincere. So she was like, she was happy that Tamika noticed that and decided to apologize again, which made it more sincere than it did the first time. And Tamika was saying, Tamika in her confession also said, I was wrong, and I had to make it right because I was completely wrong. And her ass was, so that was a good thing. And, it was great. Again, they only did the one night, because the second night T.I. performed, and they brought the husbands up, so that was a good thing. But, that was basically the end of the episode, and I was like, I don't want it to end. I don't want it to be over. But, again, I hope there is a season 2. I'm hoping season 2 will be them on tour, because I think that would be great. Now, they were on Watch What Happens Live, so we already knew that the ladies were doing the 28 city tour. As we know, also Monica's on that tour, Tamar Braxton is on that tour, Tiny's daughter Zanika's on the tour, and so was Kelly Rowland's group June's Diaries on the tour. And that the group, the three ladies, Latasha, Tamika, and Tiny, are doing new music. Candy is not. We learned that from Watch What Happens Live. But we also saw that there was still some tension, within the group. But I feel like that just comes with being around somebody all the goddamn time. Sometimes they just get on your nerves. But, let's just hope we get a season 2. I guess that's all I can say. So, I really enjoy reviewing this particular TV show with you guys. I hope, as always, you tune in to watch my other reviews. As y'all know, I do all kind of other shows, all kind of other stuff. So, other than that, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This was the season finale of Xscape Still Kicking It, Season 1, Episode 4. Until next time, people, peace.